Alright, check it out. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're looking at the Iron Tiger Forge Tsunami, Tsunami Katana. This one is a 1050 differentially hardened blade. We're going to go over some basic specs on it, some up-close looks, a little bit of work on cut testing, and why you may want to add this one to your collection. Let's get into it. All right, out of the gate, katanas and Japanese swords are not my specialty. However, there's way more similarities across blade cultures than there are differences. So just from the overall look of it, we can even start on the scabbard. We usually start on the blade, but we'll start on the scabbard. We have a black lacquered scabbard, which is, it's more of a speckled appearance. And this is different than what you're gonna see on some other price point katanas. This one actually isn't that expensive for the quality you're getting from Iron Tiger. But even if you take your finger to this and you were to scratch it a little bit, nothing happens, which is the point, because this is more of not only aesthetically pleasing, but also the utility of not worrying about this being a glossy black finish that you'll see with a lot of scabbards on katanas. This leads us into the wrap. This is a faux silk wrap, so this is not real silk by any means, but the very dark navy wrap on this one on the actual scabbard, and then the wrap on the handle are both faux silk, making this feel very nice. I mean, you wouldn't really, if we're talking about traditionally, sure, you can wear gauntlets with it, something like that, but we're talking about just with a bare hand alone, it's comfortable. It's a comfortable handle. The race skin underneath, the white race skin that you're seeing, that is genuine race skin. It is not faux race skin, but the wrap on the handle and the wrap on the scabbard itself are faux silk. Is that a koi fish? Let's talk about the accents on this one. Looking at the guard itself, this is a brass accent, and all the fittings are brass, as you're gonna see in the up-close looks. Underneath the faux silk wrap with the genuine race skin, we have a koi fish underneath here on this side and on this side, which is pretty sweet. Not only is that a really rad design just in general artistically, but it does actually accent the grip. So that top grip on the pads of your fingers, for if you were striking with this primarily right-handed, holding it right-handed, that's going to be assisted with the right hand. I'm going to put the scabbard down. And then on the left hand, that's also going to assist on the gripping side on the pads of your fingers. So it's a really neat way to bring in functionality, but also make it aesthetically pleasing for a really rad katana from Iron Tiger. This one is 1050 differentially hardened, so it's clay tempered. In short, what does that mean? The edge is really sharp, and it does have an exposed hamen line, which in a nutshell, without pretending like I know everything about katanas, is you're gonna have this wave on the edge. So it's gonna be a few millimeters, not even a quarter of an inch from the edge itself. If you were to bring this into the light, you're gonna see that exposed hamen line where it gets wavy around the edge. So the edge is very sharp. We have a fine edge here, which is intended to be fine. Katana edges generally are really freaking sharp. This one is no different from Iron Tiger. They do a great job on their edges for tatami mat cut testing, and just overall just having a great katana in general. And then the spine of it is going to be stronger. So we have a shock absorbing spine. By no means does that mean you should go hack 2x4s with it or anything like that. But for what this sword is designed for, it has a very sharp edge that is easier to sharpen, a fine edge. And then we also have a shock absorbing spine. That's what makes it generally differentially hardened. Let's talk about weight. This one is weighing in at 2 pounds 4 ounces. Not an uncommon weight for a sword at all. These are not super heavy. I've done cut testing and reviewed ones before that were a little bit lighter than this. I've reviewed ones that are heavier, that are more of a robust, even could be considered an oversized katana. But either way, this one cuts very well. So point of balance on this one is 5 1/2 inches from the guard. If you look at this on camera, I wouldn't do this. Just let me do it for you, so then you don't have to do it yourself and, risk your finger. But if we look at the point of balance from where it is right now, that's about roughly 1 palm distance from the guard. Not uncommon for something that would have primarily been used cut and also thrust. You want the best of both worlds. Usually it's a 3, with some other blade cultures it'll be a 3-finger distance. Some people like a palm. It's really personal preference, but this is not an uncommon point of balance for a katana. Something I forgot to mention was the grip length. So clearly this is to be used with one hand and two hands. The length of the handle is 9 3/4 inches from the beginning of the guard all the way to the end. And if you're not familiar, katanas don't have pommels, like disc pommels, how medieval swords and other arming swords do. They just have a cap. Alright, so now that we took a look at some specs on the Tsunami Katana, let's go ahead and look at cut testing. We're using pull noodles, again, soft targets, until we get the Tommy mats in. Let's take a look. Alright, so final breakdown on the Tsunami Katana from Iron Tiger Forge. It's a great entry-level katana if you're someone who's looking to start collecting katanas or collecting swords and you have an affinity to samurai culture or just Japanese culture in general. The katana is a staple, as well as the wakizashi, as well as the yari and other rich parts of Japanese culture, not just their weaponry. But the katana is something that is really like a staple when it comes to that. If you want a companion book, just my personal thing from my own martial arts experience, Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, incredible book that deals with the katana and also the wakizashi. The dual wielding is what he's really known for, one sword in one hand and one in the other when fighting multiple opponents. So that's something to definitely look into. The Book of Five Rings, also translated to the Book of Five Spheres. The Thomas Cleary edition is the one I've had since I was 19, and it's got a bunch of notes in there, different dates for things that were really speaking to me at the time of martial arts training. I have stuff that's dated all the way up until, you know, the end of last year. So, alright, so thanks for joining me for this review of the Iron Tiger Tsunami Katana 1050 differentially hardened. This one is a great price point katana to add to your collection, whether you're brand new to collecting swords or it's something you want to add for your collection you already have. To buy this one, click the link in the description below this video today. As always, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.